So, you want to start off talking about the Frontline show that we watched about
Sure.
Mr. Willingham? Um, I felt like I understood where the town people were coming from because they were like, well, he beat his wife, he was not a good character, and then his lack of remorse and the grieving process that you would have expected from him wasn't really matching. So I understood that, like, if I was there and I saw this man that just lost his 3 children drinking and having fun, I would similarly be confused by it. But I wouldn't just assume that he's the one who killed them, Like, just because you have a bad character doesn't mean you're a murderer. So that's kind of how I felt about, like, the beginning of it, when it was mostly the townspeople explaining why they thought that he did it, and then also I thought it was rather ridiculous altogether, the whole satanic.
I thought so too. Like they were like there was a pentagram on the floor. It's satanical, and like pentagrams aren't even associated with the Satanists.
Yeah.
So
I thought that was just very small town Texan, like he's a child murderer and he's a bad guy. Let's just hook him up with Satan while we're at it. Like it just seems like that. I know that there was at some point like kind of like a satanic cult scare where everyone was afraid that, like, the kids were going to become Satanists and all this stuff, like, about cults. And so I feel like some people, especially like when they're in like small towns like that, they try to like link all the bad things to one person, especially when it was a Led Zeppelin poster. They made it sound like he had a picture of Satan on his wall, but
it was a rock band poster.
Exactly, they did not mention that it was a rock band poster. They said a picture of Satan, which is completely different from having a picture of Satan,
I know.
And then having like a poster that says Led Zeppelin and has the picture of something questionably evil looking on it. Yeah, and then the pentagram thing, it looked like it was completely made up to me. Like, I didn't really see, it's like they were looking at it and making of it what they would,
Yeah,
like when you
I
look at
didn't
clouds.
really see it either.
I mean, I could, like, if you squinted and you looked just right and you looked through their lens, maybe. But, like, if you're not looking for that, I wouldn't have seen it at all.
Yeah, me neither.
And then once they brought in the arson expert, and he was, like, I guess more technologically advanced or just more of an expert, which I'm not really certain why they didn't bring in a high caliber arson expert like that man, because he found so many faulty, like, judgments and reasoning in their original uh, investigation. He said that the reason the floor didn't hurt his feet was because it wouldn't have been hot yet. It would have been relatively cool because of the type of fire that it was. And shouldn't the men who were doing the original investigation have known? Like,
I know.
if they're gonna be judging a man's life, if they're gonna be
I just feel like there should have been a more thorough investigation.
Exactly. If
like not like considering not only this man's life, but also like what it involved. Like it seems like they were just really desperate to blame it on someone.
Right. Like, I just felt it was, like you said, like they needed a scapegoat, because it was something so terrible. And I mean, I can see where the next door neighbor said that he came running out and she was telling him to go back in. And, I mean, I know parents who would go back into the burning house. I mean, into the burning house, And then I know parents who would probably not go back into the burning house, I mean, but just because we're talking about his, like, morals or, his flaws, maybe he is a coward, maybe he's not. But either way, it doesn't make him a murderer, And so that's what really got me. Like, at the end, the lady was saying, she was from the little town and she was the barkeep, I think, and she said something about he deserved it, and if we could have killed him 3 times for each life, we would have. And I was like, wow. I mean, I understand the whole justice, eye for an eye thing, but if he didn't kill them, he didn't even do it. All of this malice and hatred is felt for nothing, I just felt like they used what they could and
Yeah.
they manipulated it into making him a monster.
Like they were like he was a bad